Good morning. All right, we're going to do a read aloud for fun. So sit back and relax and listen to the read aloud. This is called The Snail and the Whale. See the picture in there? All right. This is the tale of a tiny snail and a great big gray blue humpback whale. This is a rock as black as soot. And this is a snail with an itchy foot. So that's the rock and that's the snail. The snail slithered all over the rock. So slither means to slide, right? Slithered around. And gazed at the sea and the ships in the dock. And as she gazed, she sniffed inside. The sea is deep and the world is wide. How I long to sail, said the tiny little snail. She doesn't want to be stuck on this rock anymore. She wants to travel. Do you think she could travel in the ocean? These are the other snails in the flock who all stuck tight to the smooth black rock and said to the snail with the itchy foot, "Be quiet, don't wiggle, sit still, stay put." But the tiny sea snail sniffed inside, then cried, "I've got it, I'll hitch a ride." This is the trail of the tiny snail, a slivery trail that looped and curled and said, "Ride wanted around the world." So the snail wrote, "Ride wanted around the world." You think someone's going to find it? This is the whale who came one night when the tide was high and the stars were bright. A humpback whale immensely long who sang to the snail a wonderful song, a shimmering ice in coral caves and shooting stars in enormous waves. This is the sea so wild and free that carried the whale and the snail on his tail to towering icebergs and far-off lands. So you can see closely, there's the snail on the whale's tail. It looks freezing there. With fiery mountains and golden sands. This is somewhere I want to be. It looks pretty. These are the waves that arched and crashed, that foamed and frolicked and sprayed and splashed the tiny snail on the tail of the whale. These are the caves beneath the waves with a colorful fish with feathery fins and sharks with hideous toothy grins. Swam past the whale and the snail on his tail. Look at those little grins on those sharks. This is the sky so vast and high, sometimes sunny and blue and warm, sometimes filled with a thunderstorm. With zigzag lightning flashing and frightening the tiny snail on the tail of the whale. Just hanging along, right? Do you think snails getting to see a lot of the world with the whale? And she gazed at the sky, the sea, the land, the waves and the caves and the golden sand. She gazed and gazed, amazed by it all, and she said to the whale, "I feel so small." Why do you think whale feels so small right now? Look at some of the other animals around. What makes snail feel small? But then came the day the whale lost his way. These are the speedboats running a race, zigging and zooming all over the place, upsetting the whale with their ear-splitting roar, making him swim close to the shore. This is the tide slipping away. Look at the poor whale got stuck. The boats were bothering him, so he went near the shore. I wonder how he's going to get out. And this is the whale lying beached in a bay. "Quick, off the sand, back to sea," cried the snail. "I can't move on land, I'm too big," moaned the whale. The snail fell helpless and terribly small. "Then I've got it," she cried, and she started to crawl. "I must not fail," said the tiny snail. Where do you think she's going? Do you think she left the whale? This is the bell on the school in the bay, ringing the children in from their play. This is the teacher holding her chalk, telling the class, sit straight, don't talk. This is the board, as black as soot. And this is the snail with the itchy foot. A snail, the teacher turned pale. Look, say the children, it's leaving a trail. This is the trail of the tiny snail. A slivery trail saying, save the whale. Look what she wrote on the board, save the whale. Do you think the children are going to go help? Let's see. These are the children running from school, fetching the firemen, digging a pool. Squirting and spraying to keep the whale cool. This is the tide coming into the bay. And these are the villagers shouting, hooray! As the whale and the snail travel safely away. So the tide finally came up far enough for the whale to go back in the water. Back to the dock and the flock on the rock. Who said, how's time flown? And haven't you grown? And the whale and the snail told their wonderful tale of shimmering ice in coral caves and shooting stars in enormous waves. And how the snail, so small and frail, with her looping curly silvery trail, saved the life of a humpback whale. Then the humpback whale held out his tail, and on crawled snail after snail after snail. They didn't want to adventure before, but now they do. And they sang to the sea as they all set sail on the tail of the gray-blue humpback whale. The end. All right. So the snail thought she was too small to do anything and go see the world, right? And the whale helped her. But in the end, the snail winded up doing big things, right? And was able to save the whale by getting help. So this is the story of the snail and the whale. Have a great day.